Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum.
In one hand, West Side Story is a Romeo and Juliet romance, and on the other, it's a racially tense musical. The film is a Broadway show that was released during the racial segregation in the 50s and 60s. When it comes down on which musical is on top of the mountain, West Side Story seems to always be down below Singing in the Rain. Funny because I find West Side Story to be a much superior musical that takes the genre into a fresh direction. It not only turned the musical tropes over its head, but it's a melody that has a social message which can relate to our current state. It could be said that West Side Story was way ahead of its time, tackling racism, questioning the American identity, and shattering our fairy tale expectations. It's not afraid to go into dark places to make their points across. So, I'll be taking a look at the original West Side Story as we get close for Steven Spielberg's new release of the remake. The Broadway play first premiered in 1957, and the film adaptation on October 1961. It was a critical and box office success that has been labeled as one of the great musicals. It would grab gold in the Oscars, including 10 awards for Best Supporting Actors, Music, Director, and Movie. However, Singing in the Rain is often considered a favorite musical due to being a love letter to Hollywood. On the other hand, West Side Story has more memorable songs like Tonight, America, I Feel Pretty, The Rumble Song. Jeremy Robbins first directed the Broadway play, then would go on to direct the film adaptation alongside with Robert Wise, director of classics like Sound of Music, The Hunting, and Star Trek: The First Motion Picture. The music and lyrics were written by Stephen Sondheim, who also wrote the lyrics for Sweeney Todd and Into the Woods. Some of the Broadway lyrics were changed in the movie for censorship due to being vulgar at that time. The dances were swift yet explosive. They could be exotic but also physically challenging, as there were reports of injuries on set due to how athletically demanding the dances were. The opening prologue is a great example of a dance telling a story with no dialogue. It establishes the street dominion of the Jets and the defiance of the Sharks. Because I know I would be dancing if I picked on someone after. I know I would be twirling if I were jumping into a fight. The opening is a foreshadow of how the musical would evolve from an innocent grudge between kids into something much darker and meaner halfway through. Though I don't like the cool dance, I thought it was too redundant and unnecessary. The love couple, Tony and Maria, resembled the Romeo and Juliet tragedy very closely. Rather than being a royal family division, it's a gang war that interrupts the romance. Maria belongs to the Puerto Rican gang, the Sharks, and Tony belongs to the Irish-American gang, the Jets. This is an example of how the visuals helped the song narrate the story. The Tonight song summarizes Tony and Maria's complicated relationship. The first time they sing it, they're the center of their world. Their whole reality is blurred, like if nothing else matters. The second time they sing it, the colors are saturated and contrasted. There's more interruptions while they're singing, meaning how their relationship has been interrupted for how dark their environment has become. For me, Tony and Maria are not meant to be well-developed characters. They are meant to be musical cliches of the young, naive love birdies, but who are placed into a real situation that breaks their naive simplicity of life. I mean, do you honestly believe Maria would have forgiven Tony in real life after what he did to her? Maybe the moral of musicals is that if you love hard and believe hard enough, you will overcome the odds. These characters have to learn the hard reality that love doesn't always win. Not everything will have a happy ending. There will be heartbreaks and tragedies. And for a musical in that time, it was very rare to end it in a depressing tone, as well as songs that help develop the characters. The Tonight song is the staple of the film and Broadway show, which is also used as a symbolic theme. The night is used to express important events in the story. At night, Tony and Maria met. At night, the rumble broke out. And at night, the finale was marked by its tragic ending. Gang wars in America have been prevalent since the American Revolution. First, they started very simple, and by 1820, they became more criminally dangerous. Street violence was created by the mix of immigration and poverty. Every time new immigrants came in America, gangs from both sides always emerged. White natives made gangs to resist immigrants, and immigrants made gangs to fight back against their opposers. New York was always the rendezvous for immigrants to find sanctuary. And in their lack of opportunities, economic difficulties, and racism, gangs were created out of their frustrations from blacks, Italians, Mexicans, Japanese, and Irish gangs. The 1950s was a period where gangs were increasing in New York with blacks, Hispanic, and Puerto Rican immigrants. Not only did the films in America showcase the growth of gangs with A Rebel Without a Cause or On the Waterfront, but even in Mexico with The Young and Damned, and France with The 400 Blows, the racism is not played in a black and white narrative. In West Side Story, it's more complex and gray. Both gangs come from poor conditions, and neither one is better or worse. However, you identify with each leader, but they're a product of their environment, shaped by racism, gang violence, and poverty. The lieutenant adds a deeper layer to the social class of division. He's the all-white born American who has better privileges than the Puerto Ricans and Irish. The Irish may have more advantage over Puerto Ricans due to the color of their skin, but they're still undermined by their accents. And the lieutenant is a showcase of that social superiority. Atina is a very interesting character because she's one of the few who develops and grows. She embodies the optimistic immigrant that believes in the American dream. Nowhere's more obvious than in the American song, glorifying the opportunities they have, while at the same time pointing out the segregation that minorities have to go through. That same optimism is shattered by her dark environment that hurts her. Thus, she becomes as divisive and as close-minded as her gang. It's interesting how it feels like an anti-American film coming from the 60s, but as much as the message is genuine, it's a bit distracting when the Puerto Rican characters are whitewashed by white actors. All of them had to wear dark makeup. Even Natalie Woods in the role of Maria, the only Puerto Rican in the film, had to wear dark makeup. In fact, Audrey Hepburn was offered the role of Maria before she got pregnant. But I can't be too hard on the whitewash. It was the 60s. Times were not as sensitive as they are today. West Side Story felt like it was way ahead of its time that delved deeper into subjects like racism, immigration, and social class division. As a musical, it's a Romeo and Juliet fairy tale that tells his viewers to grow up because life will get hard. But it's not too cynical. There's enough corniness, energy, and color to make West Side Story a fun, joyful, but tragic experience. That is why I believe it's a true modern musical. You know, it is said by musical fans that Stephen Sondheim's melodies are very forgettable. I don't know. Let's put that into the test. Can you guess which of these melodies are? Did you catch them? Leave it in the comment section if you guess which of these melodies are. Speaking of commenting, did you see West Side Story? The original one, of course. What do you thought about it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Leave it in the comment section down below. And if you liked this video, leave a like and subscribe for more content. Well guys, tune in next time because I am still gonna be talking about musicals as I compare the ones from then and now. So for now, that's it for today. Ciao.
Pasito tum tum, pasito tum